In this video, I'm going to be going over the blue Game Factory cart for the Sega Genesis. So this is the Game Factory cart. This is the blue version for the Sega Genesis. I recently picked this up. These are pretty difficult to come by now. And if you don't know the story, basically in the early to mid 90s, around 94, Blockbuster IBM got together. They formed a partnership and they tried to build what was essentially a rewritable cart, similar to what an EverDrive is today. So that whenever you went into a Blockbuster store, if they didn't have the game in stock, they could just write it to one of these carts and you could rent it out. They would never have to worry about supply as long as the game maker would license their game to be put onto one of these carts. Basically, you go to a kiosk, it would download the game, write it to the cart, you would rent it out, you return it, and then the next person wanted to rent a game, they would just write the new ROM to it. And it was a great idea, except that it had some flaws, mainly around how long it took to write games. Customers became impatient, waiting for games to be written to the carts, as well as this cart is the 32 megabit cart. It's the one that was a little bit bigger in size. There's also a green version, which is 16 megabit. But the problem is that games are constantly changing in size. And so they would have to essentially keep making different versions of these carts to constantly keep up with the games. And it just wasn't sustainable. And so the program got decommissioned. It was originally piloted in 10 stores in Columbia, South Carolina. Eventually, it did get spread out. There were quite a bit of the green carts. The blue carts, there's not that many available. The one I acquired, I think, was the first public sale in the past several years. And so I was able to get this to add to my collection. Like I said, they're a little bit pricey now. You used to be able to get these for around $50. They've shot up in price anywhere from $250 to $500. These are costing right now. So I was able to get it. I'll show some pictures of it throughout this video so you can kind of see what the board looks like, what the cart looks like. The chip inside is really unique. It actually takes up the full dimensions of the shell of the cart, which is really interesting. They made full use of the space. There's 2 Intel chips on the board. It is battery driven. My cart does boot to the Lion King. You can see somebody actually wrote Lion King on here. This is one of the few carts that actually do still boot up into a game. Normally once the battery dies, the game gets erased because that's how it is saved. But fortunately my battery's still good in this one, which is crazy. This cart was made in 94. It's now 2017, end of 2017, and it's still working great. I put it in a little bit ago, booted it up, boots right into the game. There's no BIOS or any type of splash screen for the cart. It just goes right into the game and you can play the game without any issue. So really impressive piece of hardware. Definitely glad to add it to my collection. I'm still looking for the green one, and I've got a few leads on one. A couple people I know actually have some, and so I'm trying to work out some deals to get one of those. And I'm also still looking for the New Leaf Entertainment one, which, if I recall, there's only 10 of those that are confirmed to ever exist. It was one per each of those 10 Columbia, South Carolina stores, and it's essentially the prototype of what became the green cart and the blue cart. And it basically has a label on it that says New Leaf Entertainment. Right now there's one on eBay with a buy it now of $3,000. That seems quite excessive for what it is, especially given the fact that there most likely won't be a game on it. And the prototype cart, every cart that is the prototype had the Jungle Book on it. And so there are no other games known to ever exist on the prototype cart. It's just a piece of history. Obviously, I'm a huge Sega collector, and so really like to get that into my collection one day, along with the Blockbuster Championship 2 cart. And that way I'll have all three of these, have the Blockbuster Championship cart. That'll pretty much complete the Blockbuster set. And then obviously there's still Heartbeat Personal Trainer and some other items. But as you can see by the board, it is double-sided. It's extremely complicated. There's a lot going on with this board, both front and back. And so here I'll put a comparison of what it looks like, you know, up against a Sonic 2 cart, and you can just see the complexity that is in there. It's a really neat piece of hardware. If you ever find one, I definitely suggest picking it up. Again, I'm not sure how many of these exist today. Most of them were supposed to be returned to the store when the program got canceled. However, some customers still had them, didn't return them to the stores, or the stores just didn't send them back to the manufacturer, and they kept them. And then obviously Blockbuster recently went out, sold off all their inventory, so there's still some of these carts sitting out there. I've seen, or I've heard stories of people picking them up at yard sales, flea markets, etc. I got mine on eBay. I haven't been able to actually find one in person until now, but definitely excited to add it to the collection. But drop me a comment below, let me know what you thought. If you've ever come across one of these, or you have either the green or the New Leaf Entertainment one, and you're interested in parting with it, whether it be via money or via trade, definitely let me know. I've got lots of Nintendo games, lots of different various games that I'd be willing to trade to get my hands on both the green one as well as the New Leaf Entertainment cart. And the same thing goes for the Blockbuster World Championship 2 cart, as well as a Heartbeat Personal Trainer complete in box. Those are several items that I have never actually seen in person. Heartbeat Personal Trainer complete, I've only ever seen one time on eBay. And so, again, if you have it, let me know. Thanks for watching. Be sure to drop me a comment below.